This program is sponsored by Zad Group.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to this new episode of Ask Huda after a long period of hibernation that I pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that we do not see it once again. You will find the numbers as usual for you to give us a call, and I'll try my level best to answer whatever I have knowledge in with the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. Until we get your first calls, we have some of the pending questions from the emails. Muhammad says, I had seen in the papers saying that Pepsi and Coke contain alcohol. They say it's not enough to get a person drunk. Is it still permissible for me to sit with others who do not want to give it up? Or do I have to explain that what gets a person drunk in small amounts is the same as what gets a person drunk in big amounts? How do I go about this subject? Or is it still permissible to drink it? The short answer is, it's permissible to drink it. The detailed answer would require much time, but I'll give it to you in a nutshell. What is prohibited for a Muslim to drink is whatever intoxicates him. And regardless whether he is intoxicated by that material, if drunk in small quantities or large quantities, it is prohibited. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ said, مَا أَسْكَرَ كَثِيرُهُ فَقَلِيلُهُ حَرَامٌ. It's the other way around, as mentioned in Muhammad's question. Whatever intoxicates in large quantities, then small quantities or small amount of it is prohibited. So every juice has a percentage of alcohol, very minute, that is negligible. And that's why if you drink like 10 cans of soft drinks, Pepsi or Coke or whatever, you probably harm yourself due to the sugar in it or due to the caffeine, but you will never be intoxicated. So this means that it is not haram for you to consume. Now, if we have a juice or a drink that has like 7%, 10% of alcohol in it, maybe if you drink a can of beer, this wouldn't intoxicate you. But if you drink 3 cans of beer, it would. In this case, even the smallest drop of that drink is prohibited for you. Why? Because a large quantity of it intoxicates you. This makes even the smallest amount of it haram for you to consume. Faisam has a question. He says, last night in Isha prayer, the Imam did not stand up for the 4th rak'ah. We stood up and some people alerted the Imam, but the Imam waited for some time and then he stood, but at the time we were in ruku'. So do we have to follow the Imam, or can we complete the prayer by ourselves? And if we completed the prayer by ourselves, do we have to prostrate for the mistake? First of all, the prayer is composed of pillars, mandatory acts, and voluntary acts or sunan. If you deliberately do not pray the sunnah of the prayer, your prayer is valid. If you forgot it, your prayer is still valid and you don't have to prostrate for forgetfulness or sujood as-sahw for that. Examples, raising the hands when saying Allahu Akbar. This is a sunnah. Putting the right on the left on the chest. This is a sunnah. If you put your hands down, your prayer is valid because this is a sunnah. It's not a mandatory act. Moving your finger in the tashahhud. It's a sunnah. So these acts, we are not talking about them. Mandatory acts, if you forgot them or skipped them due to ignorance or due to forgetfulness, your prayer is valid. You compensate this by offering two sujood of sahw, whether before salam or after salam. This depends on the act itself that you had made a mistake in. Now, pillars is a different ball game altogether. Pillars are the essential parts of the prayer. If you miss one of them deliberately, your prayer is invalid. Like mandatory acts. If you skip them deliberately, your prayer is invalid. But if you forgot them and you were able to remember and to make up for that forgotten pillar while in prayer itself, your prayer is valid. You have to also offer expiation of two sujoods of sahw, forgetfulness, prostration. What are the pillars of salah? There are many, 14, 15 of them. So takbirat al-ihram, the first takbirah is a pillar. Reciting the Fatiha for the imam and for the individual praying on himself, for himself, this is a pillar. Standing, this is pillar. Ruku', tranquility in ruku', raising up from ruku', sujood, etc. All of these are pillars. So a unit of a salah, like in Isha, the first unit, the first rak'ah, the second, the third, and the fourth, these are all pillars that have in them a number of different pillars. So we have two scenarios. One, if the imam sat in the third rak'ah thinking that it was the fourth, meaning that he had skipped the fourth rak'ah. The second scenario, if the imam stood up for a fifth rak'ah, thinking that he only prayed three and this is his fourth, but actually it was the fifth. In both scenarios, you are not allowed to follow the imam. When we said, Sheikh, we have to follow the imam, he's our imam. He says, yes, but now he has derailed. He has diverted from the actual prayer, and you're not allowed to follow him if you know that he is doing such a grave mistake, which is, in a sense, going out of the prayer's format. So whether he skips a rak'ah or adds a rak'ah, you are obliged to alert him. Like you have said, the worshippers said, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. If he complies, alhamdulillah, you follow him. If he refuses, he thinks that he's doing the right thing. In this case, you have to complete your prayer on your own. So your intention is to split, to leave him, to leave the congregation and finish the remaining rak'ah on your own. So if he sat in the third rak'ah, as you had mentioned in your question, you stand up for the fourth on your own, not with another imam. And you finish your fourth rak'ah and you make tashahhud, you offer salam, and that is it. Do I offer a forgetfulness prostration, sujood as-sahw? The answer is no. You didn't do any mistake. Now, the second scenario is if he stands up to the fifth rak'ah and you say Subhanallah and he does not comply and sit. He continues in this fifth rak'ah. You have the option whether to finish on your own, offer a tashahhud and go out of the prayer, or wait until he finishes his fifth rak'ah, sits for tashahhud, offers salam, and you offer salam with him. I would recommend that you finish the prayer on your own. We have Rihana from Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
I have two questions, and welcome back after a long time.
Jazakumullah
May
khair.
Allah give barakah in this program and accept from us.
Ameen.
Jazakallahu khairan. And my first question is, after reciting Baqarah, can we blow on water and drink it? And my second question is, should we make intention for Hajj and Umrah by saying it by mouth, or just in the heart, the niyyah is in the heart? It's enough. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair for your kind words and prayers. And I pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that He uses us in whatever pleases Him. It's also good to be back. Rihana's first question is regarding a misconception that a lot of the people have, which is thinking that Surah Al-Baqarah is a ruqyah by itself. So a lot of the Muslims, when affected by evil eye, by envy, by possession of jinn, or by black magic, they would bring Zamzam water and recite the whole surah, and they blow on Zamzam water and drink of it or wash with it. And this is a misconception because it is not a ruqyah. The whole surah is not a ruqyah. It is excellent surah. It is one of the greatest surahs of the Quran. It helps in preventing shaitan from entering your home. It helps in attacking the sorcerers and those who deal in black magic because they are unable to learn it or to defeat it, as the hadith stated. But it is not a ruqyah. So means of healing, that you read it in the house. That is more than sufficient. Now for ruqyah, you may read Al-Fatiha, which is the best ruqyah ever. You may recite Ayat al-Kursi. You may recite the last two ayahs of Surah Al-Baqarah, آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون. You may recite the last three quls of the Quran, the last three surahs of the Quran. Also for black magic, there are the ayat in Surah Al-A'raf or in Surah Yunus, as some scholars say, وَلَا يُفْلِحُ السَّاحِرُ حَيْثُ أَتَى إِنَّ اللَّهَ سَيُبْطِلُهُ, etc. You recite these and blow on Zamzam water. Zamzam is a cure and a means of healing by itself. And if you add to that you drink a lot of it, you wash yourself with it 5, 6, 7 times a day, then this definitely adds a lot of value to you. Her second question was, do we say the intention of Umrah and Hajj verbally, or is it sufficient to make it by heart? Now the reason of this confusion that a lot of the Muslims have is that they hear the majority of schools of thought stating that intention's place is in the heart, and it is an innovation to verbally say it. While in the Shafi'i school of thought, for example, they say that it is sunnah to verbally say it. So if I want to pray, I say, I intend to pray Isha prayer today, Saturday, the 25th of November or whatever. The Imam's name is so-and-so, and he's like 6 foot tall. So they give like a manifest of what they are to do. Of course, this is not right. They say, how dare you say it's not right? It is there in a school of thought that is respected. And I say, definitely, I respect the school of thought of the Shafi'i madhab, and it is one of the greatest madhabs and school of thought around. However, never ever the Prophet ﷺ has pronounced the intention. Said, oh, you're making a mistake. I'm going to catch you in this one. The Prophet did utter the intention. When did he utter the intention? This is what we will find out, inshallah, after we get the second caller from Afghanistan, Zahiyullah. Zahiyullah from Afghanistan.
Hello, Shaykh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, akhi. What can I do for you?
Sheikh, I have a question. Currently, I'm in Afghanistan. I'm in one of the guest house, which where in the kitchen they have halal and haram foods. But I only eat the halal foods. Can I eat on the same plates where the haram foods are also they're being eaten.
Okay. Any more questions?
Thank you very much. This was all.
You're welcome, akhi. Jazakallah khair. Okay, so the brothers again said, don't dodge the question. You claim that the Prophet ﷺ had never uttered the intention. Well, he did when he performed Hajj, when he said, لَبَّيْكَ اللَّهُمَّ عُمْرَةً وَحَجًّا. So this is uttering the intention. And the majority of scholars say that, no, you misunderstood this. This is not an utterness of intention, because I've just said it. Does this mean I have to take off my clothes and wear my ihram? لَبَّيْكَ اللَّهُمَّ عُمْرَةً لَبَّيْكَ اللَّهُمَّ حَجٍّ. I've repeated it so many times. The answer is no. There is a difference between the intention and the talbiyah. And the only form of worship that you utter something like this is Hajj or Umrah. And this is known as talbiyah. It's not known as intention. So if someone goes of his home traveling to make Umrah to Mecca, and when he passes by the miqat, he takes off his clothes, he wears his ihram, he prays the 2 rak'ah of sunnat al-dhuhr, for example, or for wudu, and he makes the intention with his heart that now I'm in the state of ihram. If someone comes to put some perfume on me, I would refrain because I'm muhrim. And he forgot to say, labbaik Allahumma umrah. When he reaches Mecca, do we say, oops, you did not make your intention, go back to the miqat? No. Saying it is part of the sunnah, but it is not part of the niyyah itself. And that is why the niyyah is in the heart. When you want to go to the bathroom, do you say in your heart or verbally, I intend to go to the bathroom, I have a 101 or a 102? No. When you want to eat the biryani plate in front of you, do you say, I intend to eat the biryani with chicken, or astaghfirullah, it is biryani with meat? No. You just simply go Bismillah and eat. The intention is in the heart. And so on with all forms of ibadah. We have Abdurrahman from Saudi.
Eva?
Yes, Abdurrahman.
Yeah.
Your question, akhi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamtullah.
Yeah, akhi, كيف الحال?
Alhamdulillah. Listen to me from the phone and mute your TV, please.
Okay. My question is about divorce.
Okay.
At the time of divorce, what is the fate of the children?
Okay.
Eva.
Any more questions?
And the other question is, I'm in Saudi, where should be is my miqat when I want to go for Umrah?
Where are you living?
In Rafah.
In?
Rafah.
Rafah. This is up north, right?
Eh?
Is it north of Saudi Arabia?
Yeah, it's part of Saudi Arabia.
Up north. Near Tabuk.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah. I will answer you.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, akhi. We have Aisha from Nigeria. Aisha from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have a question, please.
Yes.
I want to ask regarding maybe if somebody asks you a question, mostly here in Nigeria, and if you tell him the truth, maybe he will get angry, and there's a common saying, people say that you just have to be like a politician. You tell people what they want to know. So, and I think like it's a form of, like you are going to be like a munafiq. So I don't know what can you say about it, Islamically, how is it?
Is it a question in deen?
Yes, no, it's not a question in deen. Maybe just give him an advice or to ask you just something to tell him the truth.
Okay, I will answer you inshallah.
Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazakum. Zahiyuddin or Zahiyullah from Afghanistan, he says that he lives in a guest house, and in the kitchen, because there are other guests, they cook halal food and haram food. He doesn't consume anything except halal. But his question is, what's the ruling on eating on the same plates that they use? This was asked by the Prophet ﷺ, and he said that as long as you wash it, it is okay for you to eat on it. So if these plates are thoroughly washed and you know that it is clean and washed, in this case, you may eat from it without any problem, inshallah. Abdurrahman from Saudi Arabia, he says, in the case of divorce, what is the ruling on the children? This is something that the Muslim judge is to direct the couple or the divorced couple of the best of interest of the children. The general rule is, as long as the mother does not remarry, she is entitled, it's her right to keep the children with her. The father, the ex-husband, is obliged to pay maintenance for his children. This is the ruling of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, you are worthy, you are entitled to keep the children or the child as long as you do not remarry. But in some cases, the woman is not fit to keep the children. If she is not a practicing Muslim, if she does wrong things, in this case, yes, the husband or the father is entitled to take the custody. Depending on the judge, he may give the children to the mother of their grandmother, maternal grandmother. Maybe he thinks that no, the mother of the husband should take them. It depends on the way he assesses the situation. And Brother Abdurrahman lives in Rafah, or that is known, Rafah is in Palestine. May Allah liberate it. Say Ameen. Rafah is up north of Saudi Arabia, which is east of Tabuk. So if he is coming by plane, they will tell him which miqat they will pass over. So if they're going to pass over the miqat of Al-Madinah, then Dhul Hulayfa would be his miqat. If he comes through the coastal area, then Rabigh, or before it used to be known as Al-Juhfa, would be his miqat. If he's going off course, all the way south, not passing adjacent to Medina or to Yambu or Rabigh, and then go west, passing through Taif, then this depends on what the captain or the route that is being used. If he's going by road, the same ruling takes place. We have Uthman from Uthman?
Usman, yes, salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum.
Alaikum. Yeah, Sheikh, could you please shed more light on accepting Christmas gift?
Okay.
A Muslim, for example, if now one has a Muslim brother, should he accept Christmas gift from him or not? Some are saying it's halal, some are saying it's not.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
All right, thank you.
Hayyakallah. Aisha's question was, sometimes people ask us questions that are not related to deen, but to our social life. So one would say, for example, why didn't you come yesterday? Or one says, how do you think of my attitude in so-and-so when I behaved with my ex-boss, with my ex-husband, with my relatives? And if we tell them what we think, they will get upset and angry. So what to do? You have to look at the consequences. Always assess the situation and look at your reply and what would the consequences be. If the consequences are more harming and negative, then refrain. You either dodge the question, change the subject, you either say that you don't know, or try to be diplomatic in giving them the actual answer that answers their question, but sugarcoat it and try your level best not to make them angry. We have Agha from Saudi. Agha, listen to me from the phone, please.
Yeah, I'm holding. Yes, sir.
Listen to me, Akhi, from the phone.
Yeah, from phone only I'm listening.
Yes, what's your question?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, same?
Yes, Akhi, in the flesh.
So Sorry. This time I did not recognize your voice, but I'm seeing you on the TV.
No
I'm
problem.
very happy to see you after Ramadan.
Jazakallah
In Ramadan, I used to call you Sheikh.
I remember, Akhi. I remember.
In between also 2-3 times I called you maybe in your residence also.
Yes,
I'm really very happy to see. Sheikh, this program will run continuously. I mean to say every Saturday.
Inshallah, but next Saturday I'm hoping to be in Dubai, so probably it will be a rerun. But yes, inshallah, while I'm in Jeddah, inshallah, I will be always here.
Not after this Saturday, but after that Saturday you will be there, huh?
Inshallah.
Okay, Sheikh, I will collect my questions and ask you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jazakallah
Very
khair.
happy to see you. Really very happy to see you.
Barakallah feek, akhi. Jazakallah khair. Uthman from Nigeria says, what's the ruling on accepting gifts on Christmas? Akhi, I'll answer your question, but I believe that we have a break. So please stay tuned. Inshallah, we'll be right back.
Imagine that the Anbiya, they were the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they had the hardest lives.
He assumed that he had some kind of superiority and he was a better, more chosen, better person because he had this wealth. And then you look at all the other people who had wealth, and some of them were the worst people. You had Fir'aun and
Qarun.
Reviving your niyyah time and again, that you're doing it sincerely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Most of the youth, they think, oh, I'm going to pray when I'm old, it's okay, now I'll have fun in my life. Later on I'll work, I'll grow my beard, I'll pray 5 times a day. And all these things, they think that that's later on in their life, and they don't know when they will die.
Amir, who's your role model?
Khadija radiallahu anha.
And why?
Because she was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's wife, and she was the first lady to believe in Islam.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Just before the break, Uthman from Nigeria asked about the ruling on accepting a Christmas gift. Now, as Muslims, we know that we are not allowed at all to celebrate Christmas, New Year's, Halloween, Easter, whatever. These are related to other religions, to other customs, and they're not related to our religion as Muslims. We are only allowed to celebrate 2 feasts, 2 Eids, the Eid of Al-Fitr, which comes after Ramadan, and the Eid of Al-Adha, which comes in the season of Hajj. But what is the ruling if someone on their festival, they share a gift? Some people would react violently, and they would be so nervous and agitated. No, this is not permissible, this is haram, this is kufr, this is blah, blah, blah. And this is wrong. The Prophet ﷺ would accept a gift. So if they give you a gift on their Christmas, or on their New Year's, or on their pagan festival, accept the gift. This is part of being kind. You can give to them a similar gift later on with the intention of softening their heart to Islam. Now, I did not celebrate with them. If, for example, my birthday is on the 23rd of November, so someone sends me a 10,000 riyals check. Let's make that in pounds, it's more. And I would not reject it and say, no, this is haram, you're celebrating my birthday. It's a gift. I did not throw a party. I did not accept an invitation to a party that he threw, but rather, he gave me a gift and I accepted it. So this is totally halal. There's nothing wrong in that. Now, what is haram is that if on their feasts, on their days of celebration, they give me food that contains meat. Meat, we are only allowed to eat halal meat, and most likely this meat was slaughtered not for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, but for that festival, and hence we cannot eat it. But if they give us candies, if they give us vegetables, if they give us a pen or a car or whatever, in this case this is permissible, inshallah. We have Asrat from Sudan. Asrat.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamtullah.
My name is Afra. I'm calling to ask you about a very serious question.
Yes. What can I do for you, Asra?
I and my sister are studying in Sudan, and my mother is in Nigeria. She has other children apart from us, and Dad is telling her to come down to Sudan and stay with us because we're a girl. So I wanted to ask, my dad is very busy, so how can he balance seeing her here in Sudan and going back in Nigeria? As in, should she sit down with him and then talk about how many times will he stay here in Sudan, how many times will he stay in Nigeria?
Is she coming with a mahram or without a mahram?
No, just...
Okay, Farhat from Saudi Arabia.
Hello, assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamu alaikum barakatuh.
Sheikh, I wanted to ask, I have a kid of 3 years old. If I'm in wudu and I'm changing his diaper, and if I touch his private part, does my wudu break?
Okay.
I have to perform it again?
Okay. I will answer your question.
Okay.
Wajazakum. So, through Uthman, Asra question that her father and mother live in Nigeria and she lives in Sudan, probably studying there, I don't know what. And her mother wants to come over with the children to stay with her in Sudan, and she's asking about the time to split between the children and the husband. This is something that the husband would agree upon. So if he tells her, no, you should not go, then she should not leave at all. She has to stay with her husband. And if he allows her to go a month, a year, 2 months, a year, 6 months, a year, even if he says, go the whole year, I don't want to see your face, stay with them, this is up to him. It is his right to give away. The issue is that she is not allowed to travel without a mahram, because this is not permissible. And Farhat's question was her 3-year-old child, when she changed the diapers and cleans his private part or her private part, does she have to perform wudu? First of all, 3 years is a little bit old. She should train her child to clean himself. Now it's time to clean him up or clean her up. But yes, washing the child of such an age does not invalidate the wudu, alhamdulillah. Then we have Sabrina. She says, is there anything that mentions the impermissibility of wearing the color red for men and women? The answer is yes. There's a hadith narrated by Ali, if I'm not mistaken, may Allah be pleased with him. He said that we were prohibited to wear red. And there are other hadiths of al-mayathir al-humur. And it's an issue of dispute among scholars, because there are hadiths that stated that the Prophet ﷺ came out wearing a hulla that was red. And the scholars tried to take sides. Some of them said, no, it's permissible all the way for men and women. Others said, no, it is prohibited for men and women. And some took a middle path, and they said, if it is totally red, then it is prohibited. But if it is red plus stripes or lines or other colors in it, like the one I'm wearing now, this shimar or the headscarf, it is white and red. This is permissible. And this is the definition of hulla. See, hulla is something that has lines of green, of yellow, of black, or whatever. So it's not totally and purely red. And some say that this is only for men. As for women, they are allowed to wear whatever they want for their mahrams alone. But the most opinion that I feel comfortable with, that the restriction is for all men and women, unless it has other colors with it. In this case, it makes it halal. So if someone wears a Ferrari t-shirt, for example, and I've seen a lot of the youngsters doing this, it only has the logo of Ferrari, but the whole shirt is like real red. If you were a bull, you would, do something wrong. No, this is not permissible. You should not wear such a t-shirt, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. We have Kurram from Saudi.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I want to ask two questions.
Yes.
Those are related to Salat. First is that most of the time I saw here, I belong to Pakistan, so most of the time I saw here people doing wudu are not pouring water on their foot. And they are saying that in the morning, if you have take a full shower, then during the day, and you are wearing socks over it, so you simply do the massa and that is enough.
Okay.
So this is question number one. And second one is that here I saw that there is a practice that if you are alone and you are performing prayer after this namaz has been done already, salat has been done, so the man started the prayer, and if someone later joins him, he can do the jamaat. So I just want to know whether this is the right practice, or in that case one has to do the takbir before starting the prayer as stand alone and alone.
I will answer you, inshallah. I will answer you, inshallah.
Thank you. Jazakallah khair.
Wa jazak. Muhammad from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have a 10-year-old son from a previous husband, and I'm married now. The custody of the child is with me. It has been with me since 7 years now, almost 7 years. His father knows that I'm married, and the court says that my son would go to him if I got married or he was 7 years old. But his father knew that, and he never asked me for him. Now he's 10 years old. Although he threatens sometimes that he will take him, but he doesn't take. My husband now is completely acceptable of my son. In this situation, my son doesn't want to go to his father. What's the Islamic ruling? I know when the woman gets married, the child goes to the father. But in this situation, what's the case?
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah.
All right, thank you. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Yasir from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Sheikh.
Salam to Allah.
Jazakallah for taking the call, and subhanallah, great to see you back.
Jazakallah khair.
Sheikh, just a few questions back, we were discussing about accepting Christmas gifts and food that is there on non-Muslim occasions. I'm from India, and if during some pagan festivals, sometimes they offer food that has been prayed over in their pagan ceremonies. Is it acceptable to eat such food, or is it haram for us?
Okay.
Jazakumullah khair.
Jazakum. Okay. Karam from Saudi Arabia says that there are two things that he saw in Saudi Arabia being practiced by the Muslims here, and he's asking about them. Akhi, as long as it's in Saudi Arabia and it's related to deen, most likely, I'm not being racist, but most likely this has foundation. So first of all, wiping on the socks, this is a sunnah. The Prophet, as in the hadith of Al-Mughira ibn Shu'bah, may Allah be pleased with him, after answering the call of nature, Mughira ibn Shu'bah is pouring water for him to make wudu. When he came to the part of washing the feet, he wanted to take off his shoes. The Prophet told him, no, leave them. I have inserted my feet when I was in the state of purity. So this is a sunnah, and this is part of the sunnah that is a landmark for the Sunnis versus the Shia and the Rafida. They don't believe in that. As Sunnis, we believe it, embrace it, and practice it. So if you pray Fajr and you wear your socks and you go to bed, sleep, and wake up for work and you without taking off your socks, and at Dhuhr time you want to perform wudu, it's sufficient just to wipe on the top of your feet on the socks. This is part of the sunnah, and you can do this 24 hours, and then you have to take it off and wash your feet again. So this is the sunnah. As for joining an individual, if I come to the masjid late, the congregation is over, I find someone praying to a pillar on his own, maybe he's praying sunnah, maybe he's praying fard. So I come to him, I tap him on the right of his shoulder, I stand to his right, and I either whisper to him saying, you're my imam, or I just offer takbir. He knows that he is now becoming an imam for me. In this case, this is totally permissible. He changes his attention from an individual into an imam in a congregation. This was done by Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, when he was asleep at his aunt's house, Maymuna, may Allah be pleased with her, bint al-Harith. And he woke up in the middle of the night, found the Prophet praying on his own. He came to his left and he prayed with him in congregation. The Prophet pulled him and made him stand to his right. So the Prophet's intention changed from an individual to an imam in a congregation. So this is your evidence. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia, she says that her 10-year-old child who's been living with her for the past 7 years, her ex-husband now teases her every now and then and threatens, intimidates her that he's going to take the child away. So she says that the son, the boy who's 10 years old, is not willing to go. Her new husband, her second husband, is coping with it, and he loves the boy and he wants him to live with them. What's the ruling on this? This is an issue that you have to go to the court, and the judge would hear the request of the father asking for his child to get back to him, and he would listen to the boy. 10 years of age, he's old enough, mature enough to decide whether he wants to go back to his father or to stay with his mother. So if the child chooses to stay with his mother in court, then the judge would give the custody to you. Yasser's question was about in India, in their festivals, I think it's called Diwalis or something like this, I forgot. They offer some of their fruits and candies to the gods, and then they take it and they offer it to us. Can we take it? The answer is yes. The food is food. It's vegetables. It is halal. It's not slaughtered to. But if it were meat, then this is a different ball game. But being sweets, candies, vegetables, fruits, and whatever, yes, you can take that, and there's no problem, inshallah. Fatima says that I was listening to a lecture of scholars, and he's saying that when you want to ward off evil eye, you don't say ma sha Allahu la quwwata illa billah. This doesn't work. You have to say Allahumma barik, or Allahumma barik lahu, or barakallahu laka, and use the word or the verb of being blessed. May Allah bless you, may Allah make this thing blessed, etc. So is this right? The most authentic opinion is that the best of the best to ward off your own evil eye is to say Allahumma barik or barakallahu lak. This blocks your evil eye from proceeding. So you cannot harm the person that you've seen what you liked. However, ma sha Allahu la quwwata illa billah is mentioned in the Quran, and some scholars say that this does work as well. So if I hear someone looking at, for example, my car and says, wow, mashallah, la quwwata illa billah, inshallah, this is enough. I don't have to go say, no, you have to say, barakallahu lak. You don't have to do this. And the best is for him to say, barakallahu lak. Mashallah, la quwwata illa billah is said when I see something of my own. So if I see one of my children doing well at school, I wouldn't say, Allahumma barik. I would say, mashallah, la quwwata illa billah, because he's mine. If I see my car or my house and I like it, I say, ma sha Allahu la quwwata illa billah. But if I see someone else, the most preferred is to say, Allahumma barik lahu. May Allah bless this for you. But if I say, ma sha Allah la quwwata illa billah, this does the job, insha'Allah azza wa jal. Malik says that I know that graves should only be a one hand span. People say, then why is the Prophet's tombstone is higher? When we go to Medina and give salam, you could see it through the gap. Is this allowed, and who has done this? First of all, this is a misconception that a lot of the super Sufis who worship graves and believe in them and call the dead always put forward as a misconception to confuse Muslims. Now, with the grave of the Prophet ﷺ, let's go back to his sunnah. How was he buried? How was his grave during the 4 righteous caliphs and the rightly guided caliphs of Islam, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali? And when this changed, they will tell you, and no one differs and disputes about this, that his grave was not elevated from the ground. It was leveled, and it was only a handspan. That's it. They will all say that it was this from the ground. And Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, said that the Prophet said himself, alayhi salam, لَعَنَ اللَّهُ الْيَهُودَ وَالنَّصَارَى, may Allah curse the Jews and the Christians. They took the graves of their prophets as places of worship, of masajid. She says, otherwise we would have elevated his grave and made it higher and more visible. We have a question from Morocco, Kalthoum.
نعم.
Yes, what's your question, sister?
نعم.
Your question?
نعم. لدي سؤال.
Yeah, in English, please.
لدي سؤال من المغرب.
السؤال بالإنجليزي، بالعربي ما في.
ولا أعرف الإنجليزية.
شكرا. Okay, do we have, I wish that you screen the calls, please, and ensure that it's not in French. I don't speak French. What's the mistake? This is from Abdul Muhaymin Ar-Rahman. He says, what are the mistakes of Dhilal al-Quran by Sayyid Qutb? Dhilal al-Quran is a book, a commentary on the Quran. It's not a tafsir. It's just thoughts. It's like a blog. And he writes what he believes. And Sayyid Qutb, may Allah have mercy on his soul, is not a scholar. He's not a juror. He's not someone who has knowledge of aqidah or fiqh. He is just someone who's hot-blooded, who feels a lot of enthusiasm towards Islam. And he's a poet. He is a man of articulation. He's articulate. He writes beautiful writings. So he wrote this book, and it has some benefits in it, but it has grave mistakes. And there is no doubt in that, because he is not knowledgeable. So the man is dead. His intentions were all pure. He's not a deviant in the sense that he calls people to his deviancy out of knowledge. He is not knowledgeable, as simple as that. So what is the ruling? Should we read it? The answer is definitely no. As laymen, we should not come close to that book, because if you do not possess the necessary knowledge to distinguish what is right and what is wrong, then it's safer for you to stay away. Those who are highly in knowledge and good, highly decorated students of knowledge, I would not recommend that they read it, because they can obtain real knowledge from تفسير ابن كثير, البغوي, زاد المسير for ابن الجوزي, القرطبي, etc. They have the whole 9 yards. However, it is okay for them to go every now and then and read in it, because it has a lot of profound and deep meanings to it, if you know how to distinguish false from truth. But for the layman, definitely it's a no-go. Hassan says, it is permissible to wear jeans and t-shirts, as the Deobandi scholars here in India says it's imitation of the Western world. The answer is definitely yes. I wear jeans and t-shirts, and whenever I travel abroad, this is halal. The majority of Muslims wear it. No one would see me with my beard, with my short trousers, and say, this guy is a Westerner. No, they would definitely identify me as a Muslim, because the millions and millions of Muslims wear it, so there's nothing wrong in that. Say it says, if I take a bath of janaba before Fajr due to impurity, can this ghusl be valid for Jum'ah prayer? First of all, Jum'ah prayer's ghusl is an issue of dispute. Is it mandatory or sunnah? The most authentic opinion, it is highly recommended. And the time of it is after the adhan of Fajr, after the break of dawn. So if we acknowledge this fact that it is not mandatory, in this case, doing it before Fajr does the job. For those who believe that it is mandatory, the answer is no. You must do it after the break of dawn, the adhan of Fajr. But what I believe is it is highly recommended and not wajib. Yasser says, I did my wudu and started my salah, and then in the middle of it, I remembered and I was confused whether I wiped over my head during wudu or not. What should I do? The answer is ignore these wiswas. As long as the whispering of shaitan came to you after you completed the ibadah, you ignore it. In tawaf, I made 7 rounds. I finished my tawaf. I went to sa'i. I finished my sa'i. On the way back in my car, shaitan came to me and said, hey, maybe you did 6 rounds around the Kaaba and not 7. The ibadah, the worship is over. So neglect and do not look back, because this doubt has no value. And finally, the last question is from Sean. He says, whose job is to kill the Khawarij? The people, whenever they find them, or only the ruler can carry out the killing of the Khawarij? The Khawarij are those who have this deviant belief of giving takfir to Muslims who act in or do major sins. They give them takfir, they nullify their Islam, who kill individuals or Muslims just by doubts or by the intention. Your intention is, I think that you're a kafir, kill him. And who give takfir to the rulers, and they rebel against the Muslim rulers, as we see today with these extremists, whether they're Al-Qaeda or ISIS or ISIL or IS or IOU, whatever names they have. These are all part, either totally or partially, of the sect of Khawarij. Now, having said that, the Prophet said in the hadith that whoever finds them, he should kill them. And if I were to find them, I would kill them the killing of Ad, and in another narration of Thamud, these perished nations. So he's asking, who is responsible for executing such a command of the Prophet ﷺ? The answer is the Waliyul Amr, the ruler, the Muslim, the legitimate Muslim ruler who had been given the Pledge of Allegiance by the scholars, by the dignitaries, by the Muslims in his country. Not any XYZ in a cave or in a pit hole or whatever, that no one has seen his face, no one knows his real name, no one knows who had elected him, who are the dignitaries, who are the scholars that have given him the Pledge of Allegiance. Nobody knows about them. No, this is not a Wali al-Amr. This is not a legitimate ruler. A legitimate ruler is a Muslim ruler of a country, a sovereign country with an army, with a police force. He's the only one responsible for executing, for implementing the Sharia. For us individuals, this is totally prohibited. Imagine if I'm walking down the streets and I see someone I don't like and I shoot him between the eyes. The police comes and say, why did you do this? This is Khawarij. So it would be sort of a McCarthyian way of accusing people, executing them, and justifying what I had done. No, this is not to be done except by the Muslim ruler. And taking the matters into our own hands is what made the Muslims plunge in such swamps, made us retreat and go back to such medieval ages. This is one of the reasons. No, we have to abide by the law. We have to make them take whatever course is needed to implement this. This is their responsibility, not to individuals. I'm afraid that this is all the time we have. Until we meet next week, inshallah, or the week after, I leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech.